You don't even know that. Oh, you're just a high school graduate, that's why. How have you managed to live till now? My SIL, Hazel always mocked my educational background. Despite the importance of many things beyond educational background, it seemed to Hazel that educational background was the most crucial. My name is Maria, a 28-year-old running my own IT company. I met my husband, Owen, through work, leading to our marriage. Currently, Owen and I live together in a rented apartment. As we both work, we split the household chores between us. However, due to my limited free time and late work hours, Owen usually ended up doing most of the household chores. Despite his busy schedule, he never complained and did everything willingly. He never got mad at me for focusing on my job and always said, "I'd love to support you." I felt fortunate to be married to Owen. Our married life was smooth and peaceful. The only unpleasant aspect was Hazel, Owen's sister. When I first met Hazel upon deciding to marry Owen, her initial greeting was awful. "Nice to meet you, Hazel. I'm Maria. Looking forward to getting along." Instead of responding, she abruptly asked, "What's your highest level of education?" I was taken aback by such a question coming before a proper greeting but answered to avoid conflict. "Just high school," I said. Hazel burst into laughter. "High school? That's hilarious. Owen, why would you marry someone so unintelligent? You should definitely reconsider." Despite my presence, she said that. "Hazel, what are you saying? Educational background doesn't matter in marriage." Owen raised his voice, but Hazel replied, "All of our family members are university graduates, and it's unacceptable for the eldest son to marry someone uneducated." Indeed, Owen's parents were graduates of prestigious universities and seemed wealthy. And both Owen and Hazel had graduated from renowned universities. "That's enough, Hazel. Maria established her company through her own efforts. Are you still going to talk about educational background?" Hazel mocked. "It's typical for high school graduates to naively start businesses. Hey, that's out of line. Such a business won't last long anyway. Stop it now, Hazel." Owen got really angry on my behalf. I was annoyed but didn't want to cause a fight, so I calmed Owen down. "It's okay, Owen. I'm used to it. I had faced similar scorn while setting up my company. In fact, I used it as motivation to prove them wrong." I could tolerate being mocked or receiving sarcastic remarks from Hazel for that moment. However, her attitude wasn't just a one-time thing. "Hey Maria, how are you doing?" Hazel often visited our apartment, ridiculing my educational background, being sarcastic, and even boasting about herself. "Hazel, you're here again. Is it wrong for me to come over? I did meet that, but..." Hazel looked around the apartment and said, "Do you even do household chores?" "I do. But since I'm quite busy with work, Owen often takes care of it." "Pooh, Owen, having a wife like you." "What do you mean by that?" "Well, you're not smart, yet you work, and because of that, you hardly do any household chores, right? A high school graduate should have just stayed home as a homemaker." I was getting angry at Hazel's words. "So, Maria, how's your company doing?" To be honest, I didn't want to answer, but I reluctantly answered. "I guess it's going well." "Really? It must be running at a loss." "Not at all. I thought it would fail sooner, but you're hanging in there." "Thanks. I can't believe people actually work under a high school graduate CEO. I definitely wouldn't." I had to change the subject or I might lose my patience. "Aren't you looking for a job, Hazel?" Since graduating from university last year, Hazel was still unemployed. "No need to worry about me. Unlike you, I graduated from a great university. I'm just looking for the right company to join." "Oh, I see. All my friends are employed by major companies. Our university is amazing." And so, she started boasting about herself. "A lot of people from my university join major companies or become CEOs." This was how Hazel acted every time she visited, mocking and boasting. It was better when Owen was around, as he would defend me, but it was hard when I was alone. I didn't know how she'd twist my words, or what she'd tell my in-laws if I talked back to her. So, all I could do was stay silent and endure. No matter how much I used my frustration as motivation, Hazel's persistence was exhausting. Then, one day, Hazel suddenly announced she was getting married. Really? That's great. Congratulations. Thank you. He's a brilliant graduate from a renowned university. I see. It even crossed my mind that she chose her partner based solely on education. What does he do? He's in IT, working for a pretty good company. That's nice. Not a major company, but it's growing rapidly and quite well known in the IT field. Oh, really? And the CEO is a brilliant woman. Not at all like you, a high school graduate CEO. Whatever. Do your best not to make your company go under. With her wedding coming up, Hazel was more sarcastic than ever. By the way, please don't come to the wedding. Why's that? If he finds out there's a high school graduate in my family, the engagement might be called off. You'd feel terrible if that happened because of you, right? Hazel started making no sense again, and I was taken aback. Why would your engagement be called off just because I'm a high school graduate? That's ridiculous. You never know. I just want to eliminate any potential issues, so you definitely shouldn't come. All right. Then came the wedding day. Honestly, I was slightly relieved at the thought of not attending since Hazel had asked me not to. However, Owen was upset, saying, "It's weird for you not to attend. You should definitely go." What is Hazel even thinking? Encouraged by Owen, I decided to attend the wedding. Upon arriving at the venue, Hazel confronted me. "Why are you here, Maria? I didn't invite you. Please leave right now." She rushed over, trying to send me away. "Besides, there's no seat for you. Please don't cause me any trouble." "Hey, Hazel, cut it out," Owen interjected, getting angry. Just then, the groom's parents came over and greeted me with respect. "CEO Maria, you're here. Thank you so much for coming to our son's wedding." They both thanked me. "He is doing great at my company. Congratulations on his wedding." Hazel was dumbfounded by my exchange with the groom's parents. "What? Do you know each other?" I had no choice but to explain. "Your husband, Matthew, works at my company." "What do you mean by that?" Hazel seemed either in disbelief or too shocked to comprehend. "I'm the CEO of the company where Matthew works. The brilliant female CEO you were talking about earlier, you remember? That's me." "What? That's impossible." Hazel was upset and refused to believe it. "No way. That can't be true. It's not a lie." I was also surprised when Matthew informed me of his wedding. "It's a small world. I don't believe you." Hazel stubbornly refused to accept the truth. Then Matthew approached. "What's happening here?" He came over, noticing the commotion. "Nothing, it's fine," I said, not wanting to make a scene. "Anyway, thank you so much for coming," Matthew said to me. "Of course, I'm happy to attend your wedding." I can't believe it. She seemed to finally believe it when Matthew thanked me. Hazel appeared shocked and was at a loss for words. "Your seat is over there." "Thank you." It seemed Hazel hadn't prepared a seat for me, but Matthew had. "You didn't invite me, but Matthew did." Hazel's face was tense throughout the ceremony. She was so flustered that she even tripped on the aisle, creating an embarrassing scene. The joyous occasion seemed to be ruined by her distraction. Matthew was also frustrated with Hazel's distracted behavior, saying, "What's wrong with you today?" Later, Hazel's sudden change of attitude made me laugh. "I'm sorry for the awful things I said, but I always thought you were amazing." Her blatant shift in behavior left me with a wry smile. "Is that so? It's incredible how you balance home and work. Not many people do that, and you're a CEO too. Thank you. Despite being a high school graduate, you're successfully running your own company. That's amazing." I was a bit irritated, thinking Hazel was still looking down on me because of my educational background. "I think being a high school graduate doesn't matter, does it?" I replied a bit sharply, and Hazel quickly apologized. Sorry. You're right, it doesn't matter." Maybe she was worried about upsetting me and causing her husband, Matthew, to lose his job. She suddenly started to ingratiate herself with me. "There are many things more important than educational background." Exactly. You can always study. Being a high school graduate doesn't mean you can't be a CEO. That's true. I admire you. Oh, really? It felt odd to hear such words from Hazel. I couldn't help but laugh a few times. But it was better than being mocked or spoken to condescendingly. Later, Hazel decided not to join a company and attempted to start her own business. She was flattering me on the surface, but deep down, she must have been feeling bitter. She probably thought, if my high school graduate SIL can do it, so can I, a university graduate. However, she gave it up within a few months. I heard you're trying to start a business. Is it going well? I asked Hazel this deliberately after hearing from Owen that she had given up. No, it didn't go too well. Though, didn't it? I've come to realize how amazing you are. That's nice to hear. Hazel was smiling and chatting cheerfully, but her expression was strained. She must have been very frustrated. After that, she tried to find a job, but it seemed like no one was willing to hire her. Eventually, she expressed interest in working at my company. What? You want to join my company? Yes, please. I've been wanting to join. Perhaps she thought she'd be easily hired through connections. I always wanted to work at your company. She even lied without hesitation. Didn't you say before you wouldn't want to work under a high school graduate CEO? When I mentioned this, Hazel tried to brush it off. Did I say that? Must have been a misunderstanding. But I hadn't forgotten. At that point, I wasn't inclined to work with her, but I asked more out of courtesy. So, Hazel, what qualifications do you have? Qualifications? Our company is in ID, so ID-related qualifications would be helpful for hiring. It's okay if it's not ID-related, though. No, not really. Didn't you get any qualifications while you were a university student? Well, I did get a few. The qualifications Hazel had were all minor, easily obtainable ones. Then, do you have any skills that could contribute to my company? No, not really. I could understand why Hazel, despite being a graduate from a renowned university, struggled to find a job. What did you study in university? Were you just partying? No, that's not true. My grades were good. Having good grades isn't good enough. You have to have skills, so you can contribute to the company. Companies, not just mine, don't need a person like that. I didn't mean to offend her, but Hazel took it as a personal slight. I'm a university graduate. Don't underestimate me. I'm sure I'm more capable than the average person. That's what you call baseless confidence. Besides, I hire based on a person's ability, not their educational background. Sorry, Hazel, you're not a fit. What? I can't hire you. That's ridiculous. Are you sure? Hazel suddenly shouted out loud, perhaps frustrated at being rejected by a high school graduate like me. It seems fair to me. After all, every company you applied to has rejected you, right? I mean, Matthew is doing well at work, and I pay him a decent salary. I think you can live on his income alone, so maybe you should just be a homemaker. I can't believe it. Just give up on finding a job. After that, Hazel gave up on job hunting and became a homemaker as I had suggested. However, she couldn't cook or even do laundry properly. It seemed she had always relied on others and never done anything herself. Hazel couldn't even manage to be a homemaker. Even Matthew seemed to be fed up with her. Now she spends every day learning household chores under the stern guidance of Matthew's mom. When she'll become proficient is anyone's guess. Her friends mocked her for not being able to find a job despite her university degree, saying it's embarrassing to end up as a homemaker out of necessity. This must have been a huge blow to Hazel's pride. She became quite depressed and lost her energy. On the other hand, everything's going well for me. My company is growing profitably, and I've been able to hire more staff, reducing my own workload. I'm now able to spend more time on household chores and cooking. The only stress I had, Hazel, has become much quieter now, allowing me to live a fulfilling life every day.